usual. My name is Dr. Sam Abdel Jalil, and this is EL117. So what is it that we're having tonight? We're having actually a number of things. We're continuing with the book, right? What's the name of the book, right? Right now, okay. And obviously, the word right is a verb, not an adjective. How far did we go with the book? We're done with, we have gone up to chapter 7. We're doing chapter 10 tonight. Let me just remind you that next week we will have our second quiz. And our second quiz is going to be different from the previous quiz. The previous quiz was MCQs, multiple choice questions. This time around, we're having an essay. We're going to write an essay, a simple one. If I don't want people to panic, it's simple. Simple in the sense that it's, descriptive or process, and these are things that we have spoken about already. And these are things that you intuitively do. Perhaps you need to tweak your writing a little bit so that you can, think of the ideas that we talk about. You need to make sure that the class is not all about theory. You need to implement whatever tips we share here during class. Okay, so it's chapter 10, everyone. And before I proceed to chapter 10, somebody wanted to ask a question, and the mic is here. Please come to the mic and share the question with us.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I
You
wanted
have
to
the name?
ask
What's your name? Aisha, right?
Aisha, yes.
Okay.
I wanted to ask, is there any word count, like how many word essay we have to write in the quiz?
I think it would be in the neighborhood of 300 words, if not more.
Okay. And do we have to give references, links,
No,
or?
of course not. Of course not. This is
Okay.
something that you're going to do on the spot, and whenever we ask you to do something on the spot, we don't require you to bring in any references.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Aisha. One more question before I proceed to the chapter. Okay. So obviously nobody's raising their hands. So I take it that things are clear. And even before I proceed to the chapter, which is about another mode or type of writing, which is persuasive essays or persuasive writing, I would like to perhaps revisit what we said about the other modes of writing. So far, we have done 3 types of writing already. We have spoken about narrative essays, descriptive essays, and process essays or process analysis essays. 3 different types of writing. Again, you were not born yesterday, like I always say, which means that you have already tried your hands with these different types of writing. Perhaps you don't know, you didn't know about the labels, whether we're talking about, persuasive, narrative, descriptive. You use them intuitively without knowing that they have such names. It's good that you're doing them anyway, and it would be also perhaps uh, better if you get to know that they have guidelines that you have to follow. Okay, so the first type of writing that we started was, descriptive narrative, and it has or it combines those 2 types of writing that we keep talking about: description or descriptive, and also narrative. And description is all, like I said, is about giving, describing something, and by describing you would the amount of adjectives would perhaps outweigh everything else in a paragraph or in an essay, because it's description. And whenever you describe nouns, and in this case you're going to be using adjective, or you would be describing behavior and action, and in this case you would be using adverbs. Again, this is all within the parameters of essay writing, which means that you'll have to have an introduction, body, paragraphs, and of course a conclusion. This is description, and then we moved on and spoke about narrative. And narrative writing is about recounting an experience or sharing a story. With this type of writing, you would be also engaging in, giving, the time and the place, and you'll also be engaged in a bit of description. Again, there are guidelines that you have to follow when you use narrative essays and narrative writing in general. Last time it was all about process analysis essays, where you engage in a process. And when we talk about processes, we talk about steps and stages that people show or demonstrate, so that other people can know perhaps about how to do something, how to operate something. So process analysis essays are all about teaching people how to do something. It's about the how. If descriptive and narrative essays are all about the what, perhaps the events and the description of events, process analysis essays are about the how things are done or how they are being made. I'm hopeful that this is clear to you. Again, we'll start with perhaps refreshing your memories about these different types of essays, and then we make the transition to our new type of writing today, which is the persuasive essay. Let me just make it a point that at the core of any writing effort, there is this measure or this element of persuasion. All different types of writing are persuasive in one way or another. Persuasion is about being clear, is about being convincing, is about being short and sweet, concise, to the point, and everything. And this pretty much applies to all the different types of writing. Again, perhaps if we say that there is a specific type by the name of persuasive essay, it means that we're going to carry it a little bit further and give rigid, and I wouldn't say rigid, I mean, give guidelines that we have to also follow in order for our writing to come off as persuasive and convincing. Okay, let me share. I think I have something to share with you. Okay. Okay, so can you see that?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so
we can see.
okay, good.
Yes, doctor.
So what is it that you can see? It's a PowerPoint presentation, and the page that or the slide has this title narrative essay, right? Can you see that?
Yes, Doctor, we can see it.
Okay, good. So as you can see, so it's I mean, this was perhaps the first type of essay that we started talking about. It was narrative essay. So it's an essay that we describe as narrative. And narrative, of course, from the word narrate, and narrate means to tell a story or to recount an experience. So narration is a rhetorical style that basically tells a story. So it doesn't have to be a story in the fictional sense, where you come up with a story and perhaps an imaginary. No, it's not about that. I mean, like I told you the other day, perhaps coming late to class would require you to tell me or to give me a story. I mean, the fact that you got stuck in traffic, you were not allowed to perhaps come early because of some work that you were tied to. So these are all stories. So stories do not have to be fictional. So again, narration and narrative essays are all about telling a story or recounting an experience. So being able to convey events in a clear, descriptive, chronological order is important in many fields. And many times in college, your professors will ask you to write paragraphs or perhaps entire essays using a narrative style, which what we do actually. There is this possibility that one of the quizzes would be about a narrative essay that you are required to engage in or produce. Again, so how would you write a narrative essay? Your events or whatever you're narrating should be clear, should be descriptive, should be written or arranged in a chronological way. Chronological means that you have to have a sequence. There has to be sequential order. Whatever happened first, and then whatever came after, and so on. Okay, so a narration or a narrative essay is structured around the goal. Our goal would be to recount a story. Please mute your mic. Mute your mic, please. Mute your mic. Ahmed Abbas, mute your mic.
Sorry.
Okay, mute your mic. Okay. So did I leave the presentation? Can you still see the presentation? Hello?
Yes, we can, Doctor.
Okay, good.
Yes, Doctor. Yes.
Okay, so most of the time in introductory writing classes, and the EL117 is an introductory class, given the fact that you still have lots of courses ahead. In class EL117, you're normally asked to write narration essays that would perhaps discuss personal stories. It doesn't have to be about you. It can be about an event. It can be about somebody else. And then we have descriptive essays and descriptive writing. And this is perhaps what you're going to be tested on next time. The quiz is, for the most part, descriptive. So again, descriptive essay or descriptive writing means that you have an essay or a piece of writing that has to be descriptive. Descriptive means that you are describing from the verb describe, and describe would be, like I said, would be using adjectives or adverbs, a lot of them in sentences, because you're describing. If you're describing people and nouns, you would be using adjectives, and if you're describing behavior and actions, you would be using adverbs. And of course, you know the difference. So descriptive essays is like the narrative essay. It's very popular. Popular in the sense that you find yourself described. This is description is part of the human condition, if you like. You find yourself engaged in describing without knowing that you're even describing. Okay. Let me perhaps say that human beings are, descriptive um, and narrative creatures. You cannot help narrating. You cannot help also describing. Again, you describe from your own perspective, based on your personal thoughts, and you give the description even from your own perspective, how you see things. With description, of course, you appeal to the different senses of your reader, sense of perhaps seeing, sense of hearing, sense of smelling. Okay, so you will have to, depending on what is required, of course, you'll be trying to engage your reader and his or her senses by the sheer volume of adjectives and adverbs that you will be using. Okay, do I need a lot of research or much research when it comes to researching? Actually, no. It's this description is basically about reflecting on things that you yourself experience and reproduce, and perhaps capture and recapture in your descriptive writing. So you don't need a lot of research. It's not facts that you're presenting, by the way, so that you can check and double check and do research here and there. They are similar. Descriptive essays are similar to narrative essays because they describe the sense of smell, touch, taste, hearing, and sight through words. And a descriptive essay provides in-depth details of the event, place, or incident. You can be describing an event, a place, an incident, or even a human being. Okay.
Please, doctor. Please.
Wait. When I finish, let me finish first, okay? Don't ask me questions if you hear me speak. When I stop, I'll allow you to talk. So, mute your mic. Okay, thank you. Okay. So again, what is a descriptive essay? A descriptive essay is a type of essay that asks the students to give a description of something. It doesn't have to be something. It can be a person, a place, incident, an emotion, or even an event. The description has to be detailed. You get the feeling at the end that you're not only reading, you are perhaps watching or seeing a painting or a picture, but this picture is, of course, in words. See? So description, you're trying to recapture reality. You see reality and you try to recapture it to the reader by engaging his or her different senses, by giving details about the what you are describing. So a descriptive essay would allow you to explain your point of view using your own way. You would give a description of every aspect of the topic so that your reader can feel as if he or she has personally experienced. It's about recapturing reality, like I said, and the end result would be that your reader is feeling what you are feeling. So again, a good description will bring the reader to the actual happening of the event. To write a perfect descriptive essay, there is nothing. There is obviously there is no such thing as perfect essay. I mean, you try, and every time, if you're going to perhaps rewrite it, you're going to come up with new ideas, which makes it a work in progress. And works in progress are never perfect because you always change things. They evolve. Again, the basic idea and the basic goal would be for you to learn how to draw a real picture in the reader's mind. Why? Why do people describe? So you would be giving a description of an event, a person, an emotion, or practically anything. And the actual purpose would be to provide a real image to the reader through detailed description. So as you can see, we're focused on the idea of detailed description and also on the idea of reproducing reality so that the reader can have this feeling that he or she is in front of a verbal picture, a picture or an image in words. Again, there is a great deal that is expected of you as a descriptive writer, and there is always this idea of vividness. Vividness means that you use vivid language that will bring the thing alive, whether we're talking about an event or a person or there is no room for facts and perhaps logic. We don't normally require facts and logic when it comes to descriptive essays. Again, it's about using the power of language. It's about activating the different human senses. Okay, so if we talk about the features of a descriptive essay, there are obviously 5 basic features that would, kind of make this distinction between descriptive essays and the other types of essays. The first one would be the idea of sensory details. I spoke about details and I said that descriptive essays and descriptive writings in general are rooted and steeped in details. Those details are normally sensory from senses, because you try to engage the reader's senses, different senses, sense of touch, sense of hearing, seeing, and so on and so forth. Again, the ultimate goal would be for you to kind of paint with words a verbal picture. You normally have a central theme, and you don't normally get distracted by other themes and other ideas when it comes to description. So the focus is normally on one single point, and the aim would also be to reach one single effect or target one single effect. Okay, so sensory details, central theme, and also figurative language. Figurative language leave such an impact on the reader. You use metaphors when you compare things together. You use similes. You, of course, use adjectives, vivid adjectives, and vivid adverbs in order to describe people and places. Again, the language has to be also very precise. There has to be variety when it comes to the using of certain vocab items. You wouldn't repeat yourself. You wouldn't be using the same words over and over again. Again, this description is also about organization. The organization of your ideas and thoughts is very important. When you do that, you are on your way to writing a proper and a good descriptive essay. So how do we start when it comes to writing descriptive essays? So again, you're describing something. You're describing a place or a person or an emotion or an event. Again, there is a great deal of creativity that you should be showing. You should be describing the feelings and emotions that are related to the topic. Again, writing a strong descriptive essay requires a writer to form a strong plan. You have to have a plan, and this applies to all different types of writings. I mean, you have to have a plan. And the plan would require of you to engage in perhaps thinking about the steps that you're going to take. And that we refer to as pre-writing and if you still remember the different stages that people engage in when they write essays, regardless of what type of essays they write. Again, so you're planning before you write, and your success would also depend on whether you have followed the plan that you yourself have set or not. So do we have a certain format that we go by? Typically, it's if you're writing a 5-paragraph essay, so you would have a paragraph that would have an introduction, and then you would follow that by 3 body paragraphs, and you will end with a conclusion. This is perhaps a graph where that would apply to this type of essay and other types of essay, but perhaps in this would be descriptive essays would be more. So with the introduction, of course, you would have an grabber or getter where you try to kind of attract the attention of your reader, and you perhaps need to explain why you're describing. If you're describing somebody, you would need to say why you're describing this person. Perhaps she proves to be inspirational to you. If you're describing a place, you would also have to explain why you are describing this place. Perhaps this is where you were born and raised. Why? I mean, the event, whether it was a turning point in your life. You're done with the introduction, you move to paragraph 2, where you describe the person or the location and its parts. In paragraph 3, you would describe activities associated with the person, associated with the place or the event. In paragraph 4, you would describe and you would engage in giving some sensory details, perhaps in order to bring the event or the person alive in front of everybody. And then of course you have a conclusion where you sum things up and you perhaps revisit the idea of why you're writing about this place or about this event or about this person. And that would be it. Do you have any questions so far?
No, doctor.
No.
No. Okay. So I think we need an example. Let me give you an example. These are for example. These are some of the topics that you may be writing about if you're asked to describe a person, for example. You describe your favorite person, you describe your best friend, you describe your favorite teacher, you describe even your enemy, describe someone whom you love the most, describe your mother, your father, describe your family, describe your favorite brother, describe a person you uh, I idolize. I think idolize means that you look up to, describe a person that inspires you. So if this is about people, if the description is about people, and here is an example. What I want you to do now is I would like you to read this and tell me whether you think this is an essay or not, and whether it is a descriptive essay or not. Okay, guys, you have um, uh, 4 minutes from now. Go ahead, read, and get back to me with thoughts and insights. Go ahead.
Please, doctor. What's
Let's
uh, what's regular? Regular.
read, read whatever you see on the page. There is a slide, and the title
Anything.
of the slide, My Grandfather. Read, and then when you finish reading, I'll ask you questions.
Okay.
Can you still see the slides, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, doctor, we can.
Okay, good. Hello?
Yes.
I think we're done, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, um, perhaps this is very clear and very easy. If I tell you that we have 4 types of writing and this happens to be one of them, let me list the types of writing and I would like you to choose one. Narrative, descriptive, persuasive, process. So which type do you think this is?
Descriptive.
It's descriptive.
Yeah,
Okay.
descriptive.
Oh, very good. Remember, we said that whenever we have descriptive essays or writing in general, they can be describing events, they can be describing people, they can be describing a place or an emotion. So, what is it that is being described here?
Describe people.
People, excellent. Okay. So, how do we start? Okay, let's agree on that. Somebody is I need whoever some please mute your mic.
Okay.
Okay. So this is an essay. Do we all agree that this is an essay?
Yes.
It is an essay. Why? Why would we say that this is an essay?
Can I answer, Doctor?
Yes, okay, go ahead.
She started the essay with the main idea that she wanted to
No,
talk
no,
about.
this is not, this is, whenever we talk about essays in general, this is not what I want. You tell me why you think it's an essay without reading anything. The graphical appeal of the piece, when you look at
There
it
is
from a
part from it.
distance.
Because of that, it is an essay. Like it's part after part, and every part complete the other.
No, it's not, I didn't read yet, yeah. What's your name?
Batul.
Batul, we haven't read yet here, Batul. I said that you can almost tell whether a piece of writing, an essay or not from afar without reading. When you look at the organization of the piece, when you see that it is divided into parts, Batul, can you see that it is divided into parts?
Yes.
Okay. So if it's not only one part, if it's only one part, what would you call that?
It will be a paragraph.
Very good. But it is divided into more than one
Yeah,
part.
more than one
And
part.
this, okay. So we're going to say it is an essay. And of course, when I say an essay, an essay can be good or bad, right? But it is an essay at the end of the day. Please mute your mic.
I did, sorry.
So at this point, we're going to say that it is an essay. Okay, and we now, and this is what you actually did. You went and you read the essay, and we can simply on top we can write essay, right? But I need a description of this type of essay. How can you get a description unless and until you have read, right? So you have to read so that you can give me the phrase descriptive, narrative, process, or persuasive, right? So you guys read, right?
Yes.
And you came up with the conclusion that this is description.
Yes.
Okay, so we said that it is an essay because it is divided into parts, which we call paragraphs. And now we're adding the adjective descriptive because when we read, we saw that it is all description. So we're going to safely say that this is a descriptive essay, right? Okay. The other thing about descriptive essays would be that we have different types of descriptive essays. We can have descriptive essays about people. We can have descriptive essays about places. We can have descriptive essays about events, incidents, emotions, right? Didn't we agree on that?
Yes,
Yes,
doctor.
Yes.
Oh, yes, good. And you guys said it's about people, right?
Right.
So people are featured. Featured means that they are there in the essay. So who is featured in this essay?
Grandfather.
Excellent, the grandfather. Okay. So let's talk about the organization of the essay and whether you like the organization or not. I mean, I'm talking now about the suprasegmental level of analysis where I'm focused on the content and how the content is presented and organized. Do you think we are in for a good organization? Please mute your mic. Do you think that there is a flow, smoothness, logic, perhaps? Do you think that there is a plan?
Yes, it's good.
Yes, doc. Yes,
Okay,
doctor.
yeah, okay. Introduce yourself and go on. Those who believe that there is a plan, and it's a good one, obviously. Why? Why do you think there is a plan? What made you believe that there is a plan?
Hello, teacher. Hello, doctor.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, my name is Hala Laham.
Mm.
I think it's a great essay. It flows incredibly. The first sentence is actually the introduction. It's catchy. A person who has influenced me the most is my grandfather, and it's concise and to the point. And then
And also, Hannah, there is something that I don't want you to forget.
yes,
The idea that you're introducing the person and you're also introducing your reasons why you are writing about this person, right?
yes, yes. He or she they give like a thesis statement like he raised me to be sensitive, cheerful, and compassionate. So she's saying why he influenced her the most and why she cherished very deeply. And then he or she they describe the looks of his or her.
Excellent. Okay, so we're moving from whatever is general to specifics. And
Yes.
okay, we have different sets of specifics. The second paragraph is about physical description, as Hala is saying, right?
Yeah.
It's
So that's
all-
what makes
yes, go on, please.
That's what makes the essay great. She's not describing his physical appearance while describing his the way he is, his personality. No, she gives us an idea.
Perhaps this is coming later, right?
Yeah, this is coming later. But first of all, she's letting us imagine this person. And
Very
right now,
good.
when I'm reading this essay, I can imagine my grandfather, face, hair, looks, and then I get to meet him
Yeah,
slowly.
let me just focus on this idea that Hala is raising. The idea that you have vivid description of the person. The person comes alive in front of your eyes because the writer is engaging your different senses. He's appealing to your different senses when he talks about how tall the guy is, how old he is. How he looks. Friendly looking. I mean, his face is round. His eyes are blue, right?
Yes.
What kind of clothes he normally dresses. This is engaging your different senses. This is description in words. This is verbal. This is giving you a verbal picture or a verbal image of the person. Okay.
And
Okay.
they are very smart in their description because they don't say like he has blue eyes. No, he has blue eyes full of kindness. He wears jeans and clothes, which gives him a youthful, which adds to his youthful appearance. So it's not just I'm not just describing. I'm describing with a bit of my feelings towards my
Yeah,
grand.
describing, if I may add, I'm sorry, Hannah.
Yes.
I mean, he is describing with passion. You can
Yes.
almost feel the passion. He or she is communicating the passion, the strong passion, and the strong bond that she or he has with his or her grandfather. Thank you, Hala. Can we have somebody else? Okay, so we're done with the physical description in the second paragraph. Can somebody else take over and tell us what is happening in the rest of the essay? Hello? You don't know or you don't want to talk or what?
I can continue if you want.
Well, I don't want you or me to kind of talk. We need
Yes, I understand.
especially because it's easy and it's very accessible, and we're lucky with this sample because it's very clear, very well organized, right?
Yes, very. I love this essay.
Okay. Okay, let's move to the third paragraph. Okay, the third paragraph. Okay, Hala, go ahead. The third paragraph. How different is the third paragraph from the second one? If you're going to give a label or a heading to the second paragraph, and you would say that this is physical description.
Yes.
So what would be the label for the third paragraph?
I think she or he are describing his personality.
Yeah, so we're talking about his or her. I mean the grandfather's qualities, personality, right? His qualities. Oh, okay. Give me adjectives that would confirm that would confirm that the third paragraph is about this guy's personality and about his qualities.
Generous.
Yeah, the excellent. The adjective generous.
Generous. Trustworthy.
Trustworthy.
Doesn't tolerate a lie. That's also about his personality.
Honest. Yes, yes.
Hurt your self-respect. Tell that if you don't tell the truth, you will only hurt yourself. Yeah, I mean, just I think generous, trustworthy, doesn't tell a lie.
He has integrity. We can sum it up in saying that he has honesty and integrity, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And she or he support their claims with examples. That's my favorite. So they do not say that he's just generous. They tell you why he's generous, why he's trustworthy, why he's sensitive.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. And then we move on to the conclusion. So who would like to talk about the conclusion? Hello? Okay. It's very strange, huh? Again, the conclusion is, is where you normally sum things up. Okay, now that the writer has established that the fact that his or her grandfather is generous and is trustworthy and compassionate and everything, now it would only be natural that we have a claim, an established claim about this guy, that he is one of the most important people in the writer's life. The fact that he contributed greatly to the ability of the writer to show compassion and feel for others. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Doctor, I'm sorry, I was listening to you, but I didn't understand the question.
We're not asking questions anymore. We're concluding talk about this sample descriptive essay. And we're saying that what is about this sample is that it is very well organized. where we start with an introduction and then we have two body paragraphs and a conclusion. And we said that in the introduction, I mean, the writer has introduced, we got to know that we're in for a description of a person and the reason why this person is featured or presented. And then we moved on to the second paragraph, and we felt that there are levels of description that starts with whatever is physical and then move to whatever is abstract and whatever is about personality. And then there is the conclusion that sums up the whole idea. So this is a very good example of how descriptive essays are organized and how they are written. Okay, is that clear, everyone?
Okay, doctor.
Okay. Hala, last time, if you still remember, you said that we can have an hour and then you stop the recording and then you start a new recording. Don't you remember that?
Yes, yes. Did
Because
it work?
no, it didn't. And neither of the two recordings was there. So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's
It
okay.
worked at high school though.
I don't want to stop the recording now, and I end up having nothing.
Nothing.
What do you
Okay.
think? I think I'll do it at my own. I'll continue and see what will come out. Hopefully,
Hopefully
it
it will
gets
work. Inshallah.
recorded. Okay, so let's move somewhere else. This was a very interesting descriptive essay. Okay, remember when we also spoke about descriptive essays, we said that descriptive essays can also be about events, an event. Okay, so an event can be, sad. It can be also interesting and happy. It doesn't have to exclusively be about happy events. You can be also describing a sad event. You have a lot of things to describe together with people. You can be describing the food, the environment, and many more things. So that the first thing that you need to define is what kind of event you're going to write about. Like what we did with people. You mention the person and you mention why you are featuring the person. In an event, you also mention the event in the introduction and why the event is important and what it represents to you. So when you write an essay on an event, you should consider the following things. So what kind of event was it? What kind of people were engaged? Food, place, time of the day. Can you mute your mic, please? Somebody is having his mic on. Please mute your mic. So when you describe essays, when you have descriptive essays about events, then you can have a list like this. You can be describing your friend's wedding. Can you mute your mic, please? You can be describing your college's farewell. You can be describing the last Christmas party, describe your brother's bachelor party, describe your own wedding, describe the memorable concert you have attended, describe your last convocation, describe the best dinner party you have ever attended, you describe the event you have attended, perhaps where you were not invited, and a lot more. And this is an example. Okay, so I would like you to read it and then get back to me. Perhaps before you read it, I would like you to look at it and give me a graphical assessment of it. Look at it and tell me whether it is, what type of writing it is. whether it's an essay, a paragraph, a report, or what.
It's an essay.
It's an essay. Go ahead. What's
Yes.
your name? What's your name?
My name is Rawan Mahfouz.
Rawan Mahfouz. Okay.
Yes,
What? Okay, Rawan. What made you believe that this is an essay?
we have the introduction paragraph and the body paragraph and the conclusion paragraph.
You mean it's divided into parts, and you can see the parts, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you so much, Rawan.
You're welcome.
Now, I would like you to read this essay and tell me whether it's a good or a bad one. You're going to read this essay and tell me whether it is descriptive narrative, analysis, or perhaps persuasive. And then we move to the supra-segmental part and talk about the flow, whether there is a flow, whether ideas lead to each other, and stuff like that. I have 3 minutes from now. Go ahead. So let me know when you have finished, okay?
Done.
Okay. I need 5 dones before I start.
Done.
Yeah, done, doctor.
Okay,
Yes,
2,
finished.
3,
Done.
Finished,
4,
doctor.
5. Okay, so we are on our way. So we before reading, we agreed on the fact that this is an essay. From the looks of it, the fact that it is divided into parts. Whether it's a good or a bad essay, this remains to be seen. This is what you're going to share with me based on your reading. Okay, but before we do that, we need to complete the phrase. We're saying that this is an essay. So I would like you to use an adjective. Is it narrative essay, descriptive essay, prose essay, or persuasive essay?
Narrative.
Doctor,
It's
Narrative.
it's a narrative, it's a
Descriptive.
descriptive one.
Descriptive. Yes.
what?
Narrative, descriptive
Respected?
one.
Is this a new type? Respected essay?
Descriptive.
Okay, descriptive. What's your name?
Elisar.
Elisar. Okay, so descriptive
Yeah.
essay. So if
It's
you
a
share the
descriptive
sentence,
narrating essay.
so it is according to Elisar, it is both descriptive and narrative. If you agree
Yeah.
with Elisar, please say something. Say 5 if you agree. If you agree that this is descriptive, this is both descriptive and narrative, give me 5. Say 5. So
5.
5. I need 3 5s in order to confirm what Elisar is saying. Only 1 5? Okay, so which means that you, yeah, another 5, 2 5s. We need perhaps 3 more.
5.
5.
Okay. Okay. So we all agree with Alisar that this is descriptive with a measure of narrative to it, right? Okay. So what is described and what is narrated? Perhaps Alisar would like to come to the mic and share some insights with
Yeah,
us.
doctor, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
What made me think that it's a narrative essay because narrative descriptive essay, because there is a time, there is events, there is a place, there is a sequence for events. So she's mentioning them by a logic way.
Okay. This is
There is also
what
a dialogue.
yeah, this is what what prompted you to say that this is narrative, right? Because
Yeah,
you have setting in terms of time and place, right? You also
exactly.
have people, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Also, there is a dialogue.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay,
There is also for. You want me to complete or not?
that's okay. Go on.
There is also Doctor a past tense, so she's like describing the event that happened before.
Okay. Okay. Okay,
And
Alisa. Okay, go
okay,
on. Go
thank
on.
you,
Go
Doctor.
on.
I mean that in the conclusion, I found that she's telling about her feelings. She's describing the feeling, and at the end, also it made like a memorable one. That she's gonna repeat it, or she recommend it to others. So she kept something memorable at the end.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Alisar. Can we
Well,
have somebody else? Hello? Can we have somebody else commenting on what is happening in this essay?
Yes, doctor.
Okay.
Actually, I agree with Alisar that it's narrative descriptive, but I wanted to ask you, in the second paragraph, she's describing the process she went through to be able to bungee jump. Does that, can it be a descriptive narrative process or no?
Yeah, sometimes you cannot separate the whatever is descriptive from whatever is narrative. So to exclusively say that this is descriptive or this is narrative wouldn't be very correct. It can be both, by the way.
Can we add a process to them, or a process is always a separate essay? It's a like individual essay.
It can have an element of process where you have steps. So this is what you're referring to, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But those are not steps. Those are events in chronology.
That's correct. Yes.
Right. It's a sequence.
Yes, it's a sequence.
Okay.
Yes.
Of course, we can have an essay, and we can call it a process analysis essay, in which we can describe or engage in process giving about the game itself, or this kind of experience itself, and we say that first you have to wear this or that kind of clothes. You have to, and then after that you do that and that. Okay.
Yes.
But here, as you can see, the focus is more on describing the event and describing the effects that it had on the individual, on the person.
Yes, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so again, typical of description. The first paragraph would be about something, and this something is the event itself. And then why this event and not others is presented or is featured. Obviously, because of how sensational it has been, and the fact that the writer is likely to do it in the future because he or she liked it very much. The second paragraph, if you can see, is all about the place where this is going to happen, and grooming this individual, this writer, to play, to engage in this kind of fall. Obviously, he will have to fall. And then the third paragraph is about the actual jump itself. Now that they have given him the right gear, and they have given him or her the right clues and everything. And then we end up with the conclusion where, again, the writer is revisiting the feelings with this experience and the fact that he's likely to do it perhaps again in the future. Again, this is a very interesting example of descriptive essays that are on or about events. Sometimes you have descriptive essays about places. Okay, so you may be describing your favorite place. You may be describing a place that you have visited in one of the seasons. You describe your one of your grandparents' farmhouse, your hometown, your favorite college. Is this my mic? I can hear noise.
Please, doctor.
If you're keeping your mic on, please mute it.
Please.
Okay, go ahead.
Describe the place you have visited in. Please describe. Let's say.
Okay, so one of the topics that you may write about would be a visit that you have given to one of the places. You went to a place, perhaps in the summer, and you would like to share with people the sensations that you felt while being there. Describe your hometown, describe your favorite college, describe your favorite vacation destination, describe your favorite tourist spot. Sometimes you describe your favorite museum, your dream house, a fancy place that you have visited or even created, and describe your favorite mall and even your favorite meal. So these are occasions where you can write about in terms of place, of course. And this is okay. I would like you. I'll give you 3 minutes. Before I give you the 3 minutes, I would like you to look at this and tell me, first of all, whether this is an essay or not. And if your mic is on, please mute it, then I can hear noise. And I am wearing a headset, but it goes straight into my ears, and you don't imagine how hurtful it is. Okay? So deciding whether this is an essay or not wouldn't take long. So what do you think? Come to the mic and tell me whether you think this is an essay or not.
It is an essay.
What's your name?
Batul al-Hurani.
Batul, okay.
It is an
Batul,
essay.
it is an essay. What makes you believe this is an essay, Batul?
The part of the like there's a many parts on the
Yeah, there are many parts. It is divided in two parts. Very good. Thank you, Batul. Thank you so much. Okay, so I would like you now to switch gears and move to the essay proper, and I would like you to read it. And then after you have finished reading it, we can talk about it. Yeah, go ahead. You guys have 4 minutes from now.
Doctor, please.
I need five. I need 5 people to say that they are done before I answer.
But I don't answer.
You want to leave? Okay, right?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
doctor.
No problem. Okay,
I'm sorry, doctor.
that's okay. No problem.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
I'm done, doctor.
Okay. Okay. I need 4 more people.
Done.
Okay, 2,
Done.
3,
Doctor.
4, 5. Thank you so much. Okay. Right. So this is an essay. So let's describe this essay. Descriptive, narrative, process, or persuasive.
Can I answer?
Okay, go ahead.
It's describing, like,
Descriptive.
yeah, descriptive.
Okay, thank you. What's your name?
Batul.
Matul. Okay. So it's descriptive. It's a descriptive essay. Okay, good. So let's talk about the organization of the essay. So it's descriptive essay, and typically, perhaps I need to ask you and tell me whether this is there in the essay or not. And if it's there, it means that the writer has done a good job writing a descriptive essay. Did you feel that the first part is a real introduction? Is it an introduction? So the first part is the introduction. Do you agree or not?
Yes. Not agree.
It is an introduction. Where, okay. So again, perhaps this should have come earlier. Let me ask you about if we have established the fact that this is a descriptive essay, we need to see what is described. Is it people that we're talking about? Is it an event that we're talking about? Or is it a place that we're talking about?
Can I, teacher?
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
My name is Fawzia Sharif.
Okay.
The writer, he tried to describe island, so a place, I think.
It's a place. Okay. Thank you so much, Fauzi. Thank you so much. Okay. So again, let's go back to the original
there
question.
is a noise like a beeping, you know?
What?
There is some noise having like a beeping or some, I don't know how to say it. It's like a beeping more than like it's coming louder than your voice.
So the only solution would be for me to be talking all the time, right?
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear it now? I don't believe when I talk, it just vanishes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you why. Because next door, we're having people building a very huge, perhaps, building.
Okay.
That's why they are making all the noise that you can imagine.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go back to the introduction, if you can call it an introduction. So typical of descriptive essays introduction, you would have to have the thing that is being described and the reason why it is being described. Do we have that? I'm asking you.
Can I?
Yes, can you? What's your name?
Fawzia Sharif.
Okay, Fawzia.
I think the writer, he or she liked the place. That's why she tried to give us like a picture about the place, how it look like, and like this.
Okay, so in the introduction, and typical of descriptive essays, we have the place that is going to be described, and we have the reasons why it will be described, and also the sensations that it left, and the impressions that it left on the writer's mind. Okay, so this was in the first paragraph. How about the second one? The second paragraph is what?
Doctor,
Yes.
I think the second paragraph is persuasive.
Yeah, I'm not asking this question. Yeah, of course it has. Remember, I said that at the core of any piece of writing, there has to be persuasion, right? You can't help
Yes.
it. What's your name?
Rawan. Rawan
Rawan.
Rikabi.
Okay, we have two different Rawans, right? Rawan
Yes.
Mahfouz and Rawan Al-Rikabi. Okay,
Yes.
thank you, Rawan.
You're welcome, sir.
So the second paragraph is, if the first paragraph is about this big place or this big island that is called Bohol, the second place is about places within the island of Bohol itself, right? Like
Yes.
scuba diving havens, the majestic falls, the mystical caves, and the historical landmarks, the centuries old, excuse me, churches and towers. Okay, these are all places within Bohol, right? I would like you to look at the adjectives. You don't have the place only. You have the place, and before the place, you have adjectives. So, in order to describe old churches and towers, you would say, centuries old. Of course, if something is old, it's monumental and it's very valuable. When he talks about the scuba diving havens, he would say that they are magnificent. When he or she talks about the falls, he would say majestic falls. When he talks about caves, he would say that they are mystical. When he talks about the other landmarks, he would say that they are historical. These are all adjectives, and these are all meant to, again, to engage our different senses. And this is typical of descriptive writing. How about the third paragraph?
Yes,
So
doctor.
let me just finish the second paragraph. If the second paragraph is a verbal picture, if the second paragraph is an image or a picture in words, how would you describe the third paragraph?
Can I answer?
Yes.
My name is Aisha. I think he's describing how to moving in the Iceland
Yeah, it's
from
about
place
the
to.
things that people do on the island. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
So if picture, please mute your mic, Aisha. The second paragraph is about still images, images that do not move. So the third paragraph is about movements and actions that you engage in if you go there. So what is it that people can do there in order to have an enjoyable holiday? I'm asking you.
Can I speak?
Yes. What's your name?
Ala.
Ola. Ola Said. Okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead, Ola. We can't hear you, Ola, unfortunately. Okay, you have a problem with your mic. Can we please mute your mic? Can we have somebody else? Hello?
Yes,
Doctor,
doctor.
can you
Okay,
please?
yeah.
Sorry, internet interruption.
Okay, what's your name?
No, it's me, Ala.
Okay, go ahead, Ola.
You asked about what people can do there, what he wrote,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Okay, he said like you can hire a boat and
Okay,
you can take it to an island. You can buy fresh seafood and eat it on a floating restaurant.
nice.
And there's also dive or swim in a clear blue sea. It's amazing.
And the people, he or she described the people there, and they are very welcoming and very warm, friendly people.
Yeah.
They can
This
take us anywhere.
this is contributing to this very beautiful verbal image that we're having, right? Okay, thank you, Ola. Thank you so much. And then we move to the conclusion. So in short, the island of Bohol is an amazing oasis of bliss. If you're looking for the perfect vacation to relax and enjoy yourself, this is the place for you. Okay? Interesting piece of writing, descriptive, full of description, full of vivid description, full of details, and those details are very vivid too, right? So this is another example of another descriptive essays where the focus is on places. The previous one was this also descriptive essays, and the focus was on events. The one before the previous one was on descriptive essays or a descriptive essay on people.
Teacher,
Yes.
can I ask something?
Yes.
She try in the conclusion to make advice for the people to visit this place or make it like.
Yeah, she is giving us a piece of advice based on what she has said earlier. Now that she has established the fact that this island is like no other island, she is now safely saying that you guys shouldn't miss it. If you have the chance, go for it. Yes, a conclusion can also be a piece of advice. A conclusion can sum up the idea, and it can also give you recommendations and pieces of advice. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
So as you can see, descriptive essays are very beautiful, and they need a bit of creativity because you would need to have a toolkit of images and figures of speech, and also colors and adjectives. You have to also diversify your style so that it can give the effect that you intend. Okay. Another type of essay that we've been talking about is what we call the process essay. Please mute your mic. Ola Yusuf, mute your mic. So again, process essay is one of the essays that we are featuring in this course. Spoke a bit about it last time, and we are revisiting it today. So process essays, so essays that are about processes. And when I say process, what comes to our mind? What comes to our mind about process essays would be the idea that we have steps and stages and phases that people engage in order to do something. So it's a step-by-step kind of thing. So process is a rhetorical style that provides step-by-step directions or guidance. Again, you might not find this very applicable to our endeavors and efforts in the English department.
Doctor?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but can I leave?
Okay, leave. What's your name?
My name Rawan Ali.
Your name is Rawan Ali. Okay, Rawan.
Yes, thank you a lot.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Okay. So again, you might not find a lot of process analysis as a requirements in the English department, but you may find that a requirement where you work. I mean, in life in general. Process essays are about explaining something, going through the steps and the stages of doing something, or even reporting about a process. Process essays are structured around the goal of providing the reader with directions or guidance. So it's about discussing how to do something. You can be talking with process analysis. I mean, food recipes would come readily and promptly to mind. So process analysis are those types of essays where the focus is on the how rather than on the what. Perhaps with descriptive and narrative, and even persuasive essays, the focus is normally on the what, on the content. With process analysis, or process essays, the focus will be on the how, the steps that people may engage in order to bring about a change or to operate something. Okay, so as you can see, this is what we call process analysis. Perhaps next time we can have examples like we did with descriptive essays. So what is it that I'm going to do now? I'm going to go all the way to the book and start the persuasive essay, chapter 10. Okay, let me go. Let me check where I should open it first. And then here. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the book, and this is chapter 10. And this time around, we are talking about persuasion and persuasive essays and persuading relationships. Okay, so what are some of the learning outcomes? And at the end of this chapter, what is it that we're going to learn and identify and understand? We're going to identify real-world applications for persuading. We're going to understand how to write an effective persuasive text. We will be able to interpret images and persuasive readings about relationships. We'll be able to analyze the rhetorical style for persuasive writing, and finally apply the qualities of persuasive writing. So at the core of persuasive essays, there is this element of you appealing to people in different ways so that they can perhaps share the impressions that you have, share your opinions, agree with you on something, approve of something that you're proposing. So if you look at it, if you look at the goals of persuasive essays and persuasive writing in general, you would come up with the conclusion that all our writing is persuasive, whether it is descriptive, whether it's narrative, whether it is process. So again, at the core of all writing, there is this element of persuasion. Why? Because persuasion is how would you achieve persuasion, and how would you persuade people? By being logical, by being vivid, by being short and sweet, by being convincing, and these are all features and qualities you need in the different types of writing that you engage in. Okay, let's talk about real-world applications where you can see persuasion. If we talk about college or university, you may be asked to write um, an essay where you are giving your opinion, whether it's for or against a certain measure or a certain procedure, even at the university. Perhaps you were given a time that you're not too happy about. You may be writing a piece of writing in order to perhaps convince the head of the department to change the time for you. We have seen that many a time where at the beginning of the semester, people would send me emails in order to persuade me to perhaps provide another slot or perhaps give them an excuse or permission perhaps not to attend on certain days because they are engaged at work or something. So this is persuasion that you have to make. So how can you be persuasive in an email that you're sending to the head of the department to convince him of something? You can simply be short. You can simply be sweet in terms of not saying more than is needed or less than is needed. You need to be informative, not over informative or not less informative. You need to use a language that is commensurate and that is suitable and appropriate to the one that you're talking to. You need to also perhaps provide facts. Okay. So you at college you would be writing an argument for or against a procedure or a measure. You may write persuasively about a literary character, and we are all English major where we're going to have lots of stories and novels, and you might like a character and you would like to talk about the character, and in order to also convince people that this is the best character in a piece of work. Again, you can be sending an email to an instructor requesting an extension to a TMA or any other assignment for this matter. If we talk about daily life, where would we use persuasive writing? You may be at time you may be asked to write a persuasive letter to the owner of the building that you are in, asking for some repairs. You may be writing a letter to the editor of a newspaper or a periodical, disagreeing with an article. You may be designing a persuasive flyer asking for perhaps donations for a good cause in your society or community. Again, if we talk about jobs, you may have to write a cover letter or to a CV or a resume that you have. So it has to be also be persuasive. Otherwise, you won't land the job that you want. You may be asking your boss to give you a promotion in writing. You have to be also convincing and persuasive. You may be providing a service or a product and you're writing to clients and customers about the product, so you also need to be persuasive, otherwise they wouldn't buy your product. Again, typically, if we talk about effective persuasive essays and how to write them, of course, you would be introducing the issue that you're debating in the introduction. You may be engaged in establishing a claim about your subject. You need to support your claim with pieces of evidence that would appeal to your reader. You need to be logical and ethical. You need to have good organization when it comes to supporting your evidence. And of course, you need to end your essay in an effective way. So where do we normally see, persuasion involved when it comes to relationships? Of course, in politics, in laws, when it comes to finance and values, morality, and of course, religion. When we talk about gender and cultural differences and racial differences, again, when it comes to arguing, you're arguing over whether something is right and wrong. You may be advised to also seek perhaps compromises and middle ways. You try to, show tolerance. You try to be respectful of all the viewpoints and perspectives. Again, subject, you would focus on the debatable topic. You write what you strongly feel about it. You need to select a current event or an issue that you yourself have experienced. You need to make sure that the topic isn't too narrow or too broad. Again, we keep talking about this. You have to respect and honor your reader. You need to identify who you are talking to. You also need to be aware of the backlash. Backlash means that the reaction that you may get, good or bad. The reaction can be supportive, hostile, or undecided. Again, you need to be very careful with the details that you're presenting. You need to choose the details that will appeal to your specific audience. Again, let me finish, and I'll ask you all the questions that you may have. When it comes to purpose, you need to also be clear about why you are writing what you're writing. You need to also be clear about what is it that you're asking your reader to do. Again, keep your purpose in mind at all times, otherwise you will be distracted, and the next thing you know is that you are digressive. Digressive means that you move from one idea to another without any logical links between and among the ideas. Strategy, of course, you would need to use the right strategy, and perhaps you need to also think of more than one strategy. I'll stop on this note, and next time, inshallah, we will continue this chapter. Remember, you have the quiz, inshallah, next week. You need to be on time. The quiz is, I don't know whether it's for 15 minutes or less or more, but it's not an hour. Make no mistake about it. An hour is too much. Again, it's not multiple choice questions. This time around, it's an essay that you're going to write. Okay? Okay. So I'll give you 2 minutes before I call it a night. If you have questions.
Doctor?
Yes.
The quiz next Tuesday?
I don't know. Go and check. I mean, Miss Lamia sent you an email, and also all the details about the quiz are on the LMS.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yes, doctor.
Yes.
Please, how many words we should write in the essay?
Well, according to the calendar, it's an essay form, descriptive. I think she sent you something, right? Didn't she send you something about the quiz? She did, right? The coordinator.
Yeah.
So go back and check. Yes, doctor. She sent. It will be next Tuesday. It will be closed after 90 minutes. But she didn't say how many words. And she said you have to write about a descriptive process essay, a descriptive process. So that's different from descriptive alone and process alone, right?
It can be either process or descriptive. Yes.
Ah, okay. So it would be one of them.
Yes, inshallah.
Okay.
Yes,
So
doctor.
I just need the lines or how many words needed.
I'll check and let you know on the group, inshallah.
Thank you.
Okay. Better prepared from now. You now have a whole list of essays, descriptive. I would like you to try your hand until the time of the quiz.
Please, doctor.
Okay, go ahead.
What I have question before slide? Before slide, what I have question?
Okay.